The Air Force just quietly confirmed two big upgrades in the pipeline, with the first being a replacement for the infamous GBU-57 bunker buster, while the other is a call to action for the creation of an autonomous A-10 successor. Oh, and Congress just voted to extend the life of all of its F-22s. I'm Thomas Mott, this is MachSquawk. So the US military just put out two calls for not only upgrades to their existing B-2 and upcoming B-21 Raider fleet, but also the future of the A-10 and close air support. More importantly, an autonomous A-10 replacement. And I'll of course get to the A-10 successor in a second, but first let's start with the B-2. By default, the upcoming B-21 replacement. As the now famous GBU-57, aka Massive Ordnance Penetrator or Bunker Buster Bomb, is in the process of getting replaced, with a brand new Next Generation Penetrator or NGP designated the GBU-76, which a lot of people didn't really know existed, the original bunker buster, until last June's Operation Midnight Hammer, which involved 7 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers, all carrying the 30,000-pound bunker busters that hit the Iran nuclear sites along with a convoy of F-35s, F-22s, F-15s, and F-16s. But now, according to TWZ, the Air Force Lifecycle Management Center is seeking to award a multiple award indefinite delivery indefinite quality or IDIQ contract to support all aspects of research and development, production, testing, and delivery of the Next Generation Penetrator, with the Air Force adding a wide range of tasks that may be pertinent to this effort, whoever actually designs and builds the Next Generation Bunker Buster. And those tasks include pretty interesting stuff like fuse development and alternative navigation systems, with an emphasis on the latter to help achieve repeatable, high-accuracy performance in GPS-aided, degraded, or denied environments, potentially in highly contested defensive threat environments. Also, I want to give a massive thanks to all you guys who have made this channel one of the fastest-growing military aviation channels on YouTube. Over 4,500 subscribers in the first 3 weeks. If you enjoy this content, drop a like, leave a comment, and leave a hype on the video as well. Now, the other interesting note is the Air Force placing the future bomb between 20,000 and 30,000 pounds, as the current MOP currently sits around 27,125 pounds, with B-2s themselves only being able to carry just 2 of the bombs at a time. And making the future bunker buster a lot lighter and a little bit smaller actually makes a ton of sense, not just for current B-2s, but for the future upcoming B-21 Raider. As it stands, the futuristic B-21 is a lot smaller than current B-2s, and right now it's expected to only be able to carry a single MOP, versus a B-2 which can carry 2 of them. A smaller payload could increase the capability of the B-21 when it comes to carrying not one, but multiple of the brand new bunker busters. Which, speaking of the B-21 quickly here, as of 2026, Northrop Grumman has built 3 test aircraft so far, as the current program is in its low-rate initial production, or LRIP, in California. But the total operational fleet is projected to be at least 100 aircraft, although military commands are pushing for the eventual fleet to be at least 145 or more. Although the same was said about the current legendary B-2, and yet right now there are just 19 in active service in the entire United States Air Force. Back to the bunker buster though, and it is worth mentioning the current GBU-57 had never actually been used in combat until last year's Operation Midnight Hammer, as despite being in development since the late 2000s and entering the Air Force inventory in 2011, the 14 MOPSs that were dropped over Iran were the first in its entire history. Now, moving away from the B-2 and over to the current A-10, not only did Congress confirm it's going to stay till at least 2030, we'll talk about that, but it also confirmed its brand new search for the A-10's future successor. As the Air Force Times wrote this week that, quote, U.S. House lawmakers want the Air Force to keep the A-10 Warthog flying and combat ready through its planned 2030 retirement while testing autonomous aircraft that could eventually take over the aging jet's close air support mission. As the 2017 Defense Authorization Act, which passed this past Thursday, now heads to the House floor, not only directs the Air Force to maintain enough training, depot maintenance, spare parts, and contract support to keep the current remaining A-10s mission ready through 2030, but also creates this new measure that directs the Air Force to develop a plan for its eventual future without the Warthog, noting a, quote, competitive experimentation, prototyping, operational assessment of autonomous, semi-autonomous, artificial intelligence-enabled, and adjunct aircraft capabilities. The plan would make a limited number of A-10s available for research and development, with non-traditional and venture-backed defense firms given opportunity to participate. AKA, in a nutshell, the Air Force is opening up the bidding for a potential future autonomous A-10. Although for all you man-fighter lovers, the package does ensure that humans will remain, quote, in the loop, saying, consistent with meaningful human command and control by a qualified military aviator, which could mean a pilot somewhere safely on the ground. Which of course is very exciting, right? The future of the A-10, the future of close air support, and yet, to put a little bit of cold water on this very exciting fire, that's all the details that we got. There's nothing else about what it could potentially look like, what it could do, its capabilities, anywhere close to that. That's obviously well in the future. I think we've all seen the various funny-looking CGI renderings of a modern futuristic A-10, But honestly, there's no guarantee it's going to look anything close to the current A-10, as replicating an A-10 but in a modern 5th generation stealth airframe is next to impossible, mainly due to the fact that A-10s are supposed to be able to get low and slow, which is accomplished by its two massive elongated wings. 5th gen aircraft are stealthy, mainly due to the shape they take, and sweeping back a Hog's replacement wings to make it more stealthy almost defeats the entire purpose. Still though, this program is clearly years, if not decades away. In the meantime, Warthogs will continue providing close air support through the previous mentioned 2030 year, with a separate amendment in this exact same proposal directing the Pentagon to evaluate transferring potentially even retired A-10s to another military service, such as the Army or Marines, which is something the Air Force has never officially proposed, aka transferring the A-10 to, say, the Army, but the idea had to become especially popular during the 2014 retirement fight. The Air Force wanted to retire the entire A-10 fleet, and multiple defense analysts and former officials publicly argued the Army should take over the aircraft rather than scrap them. But the key obstacle is actually the Key West Agreement of 1948, as after World War II, the military divided responsibilities between services. The agreement essentially said the Air Force owns fixed-wing combat aircraft, and the Army is limited primarily to helicopters and certain smaller aircraft. And because of that agreement, the Army simply cannot take over the A-10 fleet. It would take congressional approval, hence it hasn't happened. Now, moving over to 5th gen aircraft and the F-22, we actually got a brand new update from the exact same bill that keeps the A-10 extended through 2030, as the House Armed Services Committee voted to also keep 184 of its current F-22 Raptor fleet from retiring through 2032, which goes up from the previous language which prohibited any Raptor divestments through fiscal year 2027. Now, the Air Force originally planned on buying 750 of the Lockheed Martin-built 5th generation fighter, but that procurement plan was whittled down year after year, so the final number was capped at 187 back in 2009. And it does sound like this extension might possibly be because of the upcoming F-47 NGAD, which we already know the Air Force is rumored to be flying and preparing production for the top-secret F-47. But as Air and Space Forces noted, an extension of the F-22's retirement prohibition into at least 2032 would help the service retain some of its air power capabilities while the F-47 comes online. Boeing continues to build the F-15EXs, and Lockheed further upgrades the F-35s. As it stands, 33 of the 184 current Raptors are the Block 20 training variant, and that's the F-22 primarily flown at Langley Air Force Base for its Raptor basic course. And these jets are not technically combat-coded, and are missing many of the upgrades found in combat-capable Block 30 and 35 Raptors. And while talks of upgrading the 33 training Raptors have come and gone in the previous years, it appears the Air Force is currently more interested in simply extending the current F-22s, getting ready for the F-47s, and buying more JSS and F-15EXs while we wait for the NGAD. Now, last but not least, the final story of the day, that the Air Force has officially graduated its first 2 instructor pilots for the upcoming T-7 Red Hawk, as 2 members of the 99th Flying Training Squadron out of Randolph Air Force Base have officially become the Air Force's first ever instructor pilots and ATC's newest jet trainer. As the Red Hawk first arrived at Randolph back in December and has been putting pilots through a strenuous qualification process to become the future cadre in the T-7. As it currently stands, the initial operational capability is still targeted for around summer of 2027, with the new Boeing-built Red Hawks hopefully replacing the aging Air Force fleet of T-38s around that time, all with the hopes that the many new upgrades, and there are a lot inside the T-7, will help better train future pilots for all these next-generation aircraft. Now, of course, plenty more stuff happening in the next couple of days and weeks here on MachSquawk. We'll keep you guys up to date on everything happening inside the world of military aviation and news. If you like this show, you like this video, drop a like, watch my other ones at my channel. Go and subscribe. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been MachSquawk.